Good afternoon everybody, this is Karl here from Karl Benson YouTube. Hope you're having a really good day today. Right, today something a little bit different from my other things that I do. Recently, well, a while ago, I got given that this was a cooler. This was a Cooler Master Sidon 120 cooler, and I got it free with a purchase. I can't remember what the purchase was now, but I got it free as part of the purchase. It was only worth about £25, £30 maybe at a push. Anyway, the cooler on itself, the pump, I didn't really like that much. Didn't look nice at all. Anyway, I had this radiator in a InWin 503 case, and I was modding the case, and sometimes when you're modding a metal case, there's some sawing, there's some drilling to do and stuff like that. And this day I was drilling, and I never thought to take out the radiator first, and I drilled, as you can see, that chip there, straight into the corner of the cooler, and liquid started not gushing out of it, but dripping out. And it was up to the, and it was laid flat, but if I put the cooler, in this orientation upwards, it was okay. So for ages I had duct tape over the top of it, on there really tightly, and it held the liquid in, but it wouldn't stop it leaking. And at the time I had this, I was using it on my first build, the Red Horizon, which was an AMD A10 7870K build with I think it was the Asus A88X Gamer motherboard. And yeah, so it was leaking, and eventually I couldn't use it no more, and the cooler got replaced by a bigger cooler, which was the NZXT X62 AOI with a 280mm radiator. Not that it needed it, but having that radiator and that AOI cooler allowed me to take that 7870K at the time up to just over 4.7 GHz, which wasn't bad to say. Its base clock was 3.7 or 3.8 GHz. So to get it all the way to 4.7 GHz, were quite good. And really good for that motherboard as well, because it wasn't really classed as a overclocker's motherboard. So anyway, coming to the present day, I found myself last week having this cooler sat at this radiator, not the cooler, not the whole thing, just the radiator, sat in my drawer, empty. And I just can't part with things. I just don't like to throw things away, and I thought, what can I do to stop this thing leaking? I could have put some solder in it, maybe soldered it shut or something like that, but I don't own a soldering iron. And so what I did was, I got some super glue, just paid £1 for it from local pound store, and put it over this hole there, wait till it dry, then put some more on top of it, and I just left it as it was, and just left it for about a week to let it cure properly. And then eventually I just filled it with water, just poured it in from the tap, and just let it sit there all night, just laid flat to see if there was any puddle in the morning, just from gravity and the air pressure. There was nothing there. So then I really started scratching my head and thinking what I could do with it, because I didn't want to throw it away. So then I drew my eyes onto this pump head. Some people there may recognise that brand, a very well known brand of Alpha Cool. Very good pump, a little bit built-in reservoir inside there. The pump itself, it only goes to 2600 RPM, so it's okay, but anything above a 360mm radiator, then it's a bit lame. It loses that oomph to circulate flow quick enough and to get rid of temperatures. But I thought it would be an ideal candidate to pair up with this little 120mm radiator. So the only problem that I had, again, the pump was leaking. What had happened was, when I was changing the tubing at some point, or undoing the fittings for some reason, I can't remember why, I over tightened it, and basically I put a little fracture in the inside the reservoir threading, and fluid kept leaking out everywhere. I got in touch with Alpha Cool, and they said, yep, send it back, but I couldn't get past their RMA program, you know, the ticket system, and you know, it just wasn't accepting my ticket for some unknown reason. So again, super glue came to save the day. So I took it all apart, which was quite easy. Just took off the 4 screws underneath it, the cold plate, and the whole thing just slid off once I took the tubes off and that. And I found out where the fracture was inside by putting red coolant inside it and to see where it was leaking out. Then emptied it out, dried it all off, and put super glue over that crack, and then let it dry, and dried it off with compressed air can, and put more super glue over the top of it, and basically put it all back together, filled it up, pressure tested it with my fan controller, and just basically plugged it into a power supply, jumped to power supply with the jumper, with a 24-pin jumper, got it activated, and just plumbed it all together. I mean, even plumbing all this together was a bit of a task really, because the barb fittings on this radiator I think are only 4mm, and this tubing is 8mm in diameter. So what I had to do is, I'll just get it for you to show you what I did, what I used to make it all fit and nice and snug. If I can find it. And bear with me. Nope, can't find it. Anyway, what I did was I had some rubber tubing from a motorbike, and basically it was an oil feed line, and it's this red tubing. You know, it was really malleable and that, and it had a 4mm diameter, but it was also about 3 or 4mm thick. So what I did was I plonked a tube onto the barb, then got my trusty sharp knife, cut it to length, did it again on the other side. Then I've got this Alpha tubing, that's I think it's 8mm by 11mm, 8mm inside diameter, 11mm outside diameter, and basically all I had to do with this then was dip it in a cup of hot water, red hot water, scalding hot water from the kettle, just leave it submerged in there for about 5 seconds, and then basically I forced it over top of the other tubing, did it both sides, and it's on there really good, won't pull off. I just need to get the other anti-king put on there to finish off that look, and yeah. So then I filled it all up with liquid and pressure tested it, well, leak tested it overnight time, and it all works. So what I'm going to do now is I've got a few things to do, because this pump originally I was just going to use just for that, just for a pump, just to circulate liquid around it. It wasn't going to go on the CPU. I was going to use it for my graphic card because I've got a radiator for that, and I've got the Alpha Cool block on there, and I thought, okay, because it's a solo block that's on there, it doesn't have a pump inside, this would be ideal for doing that. So that's what I was going to do with it, and I originally, to stop it vibrating, stuck this very strong 3M vibration pad on there. I don't know if you can see that, bit of a glare stopping it, there you go. I stuck that on the bottom, then that was going to go on the bottom of the computer case like so, and the tubes are going to go into it. I've got extra tubing to route to it, and then I thought, well no, I'd like to actually use it for cooling down CPU. None of it, not the CPU in this kit, in this build, or my other one. What I'm going to do, I've got that A88X gamer, the FM2 Plus motherboard that I was on about earlier. I'm going to resurrect that. I'm going to get myself a CPU to plonk on it, and I'm going to try and use this cooler on that radiator, on that motherboard. With it being an AMD, I've got the brackets for it down here. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is now, you can literally just roll the rest of the sticky stuff off. I thought it was going to be really hard to get off, but no, just a bit of friction just to get it right off there, roll it off. Probably taking a little bit of skin off with it. Yeah, probably the quickest way to do it. I mean, you probably could use, you know, some kind of solvent, you know, to melt the glue and that, but I've got something for that as well. A bit of nail polish remover. It's acetone free. It's really good for getting rid of glue and sticky residue that's left behind. And I just use a wet wipe on there, and a little clean. Got to be careful with this stuff, it's very, very flammable. Very flammable. I mean, the slightest spark can set it off. Clean the bottom of that off. So it's all gone. I can't feel any residue left behind on there. That'll do for that. Okie dokie. Give the cooler a little bit of a wipe down. Not been cleaned in ages. Same for the radiator. And the fan that I'm going to be using is one of my old Corsair's SP120s. Really like these fans. I modded this for a steampunk build to make it look a bit old and, you know, worn out, which I think got that effect, you know, quite well to make it look like it was well used. And yeah, so that's going to go on to there. So I'll do that now while you're with me. And these have got built-in rubber pads, so they're really quiet all the time. Just get them on finger tight to begin with. Make sure you don't over tighten these so you don't ruin the threads. Really recommend these screwdrivers to anyone that wants to get them. I mean, I forget the name of this make, but it comes with every single tip that you can think of, you know, all the Torx ones and stuff like that, and got a good weight to it. This is a metal one. Telescopic, just pull it forward, as you've seen then, and lock it itself back so it don't go in and out. You can reach screws that are, you know, a little bit further away if you just need a bit more leverage. There we go, there we have it, there. I know it's not pretty, but you know, it does the job. Oh, there we go. There's the Corsair fan on there. I always recommend it. Well, for me, when you're using a radiator, you know, especially a small one, you want to get the maximum out of it. Use a static pressure fan, and yeah, it'll keep that static pressure close. And I think it does better at cooling with a static pressure. So that's going to go in a build later on, and yeah, it's all ready to go now. I may get another fan for the inside there. I've got another SP fan somewhere. If anyone knows where I can get some more of these fans, these are the Corsair SP120 Performance Edition. If anyone knows where I can get any of these from, please let me know. in the comments, or maybe leave me a link in the comments to these if you can. And yeah, that's all I wanted to show you today. Oh, I might as well show you the brackets before I go. Might as well show you the brackets that I've got down here. I've got a tray full. It's always good to keep everything together so you're organised. Just put that there, out of the way. And as you can see, I've probably got brackets. Every bracket that's for the Kraken G12. That's also the Asus 2 Asus fan. Another, that's for Intel. That's for AMD. Got all my back plates, or you know, the brackets that go behind, so you can put on these coolers. Oh no, it's the new. I think that's for the new motherboards for the AMD AM4 brackets. There, they're supplied by NZXT. But the one that I'm looking for, which is this one, I've got the brackets there for the motherboard. It says Intel there, but it's not. It's AMD. Is this one, I believe. With that back plate there for the AM4 bracket. So that's the one that I'm going to use, I believe. That's the AMD one. Let me just check it against this one. Yeah, that looks like Intel. AMD. That's what I use to mount, and when it comes to that, I will try and bring you guys along for it. But the reason why I don't do that is because sometimes I don't always have the time to do it. I just like to crack on and show you, you know, the after results. And but when it's little small things like this, I can, you know, show you guys what I'm on about and what I'm planning to do, or what I am going to do, stuff like that. So anyway, I will leave you and love you all for now, and please hit that like button, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all on the next one.